Imagine this, a high-stakes showdown between two titans of the hip-hop world, where diss tracks and bullets fly with equal ferocity. Now we're talking about none other than the legendary feud between 50 Cent and Jimmy Henchman, a clash so intense that it's been dubbed hip-hop's most violent war. On one side, you got 50 Cent, the chart-topping rapper turned entrepreneur, and on the other, Jimmy Henchman, a notorious figure with street cred to spare. But what led to this epic battle, and who came out on top when the dust finally settled? Background. So first up, we got 50 Cent, the man behind hits like In the Club and 21 Questions. Now born Curtis James Jackson III, he rose from the streets of Queens, New York to become one of the biggest names in rap. Now 50 Cent's not just about his music, dude's about brand. Now he's into acting, producing, and even business ventures like the vitamin water deal. Now Jimmy's not your everyday kind of guy you see plastered all over the place like 50 Cent. Nah, he's more like the secret agent of the music scene, operating from the shadows with a knack for making things happen. I mean, picture this. While 50 Cent's out there dropping beats and sealing deals, Jimmy's in the background, weaving his web of connections and street cred. You know, Jimmy's like that quiet force that you don't really notice until things start moving. Now he's been in the game for a while, managing artists and pulling strings behind the scenes. But there's another side to Jimmy that's got some murkiness to it. Yeah, we're talking about some pretty shady stuff here, but we're gonna get into that in a little bit. Now see, they both had their own circles in the music scene. 50 Cent with G-Unit and his ties to Dre and Eminem, while Jimmy had connections with various artists and industry figures, including some with controversial backgrounds. Now their paths crossed in ways that would eventually lead to one of hip-hop's most notorious feuds. Ready to find out what happened? The genesis of the conflict. Okay, at first 50 Cent and Jimmy Henchman was just kinda doing their own thing. Now 50 was making his music and Jimmy was handling his business behind the scenes. But things started heating up when the Game entered the picture. See, the Game was signed to G-Unit, which was 50's crew, but its manager was none other than Jimmy Henchman. Now, Jimmy saw an opportunity here, maybe a chance for the Game to overshadow 50. Now, jealousy and resentment started brewing, especially since Jimmy had his own issues with 50's crew, like his connection with Chris Lighty, another big name in the music biz. So it's like a recipe for major drama, right? We got jealousy, ambition, and a few egos thrown into the mix for good measure. And that's how the spark ignited this whole fiery feud between 50 Cent and Jimmy Henchman. Escalation of violence. Now both 50 Cent and Jimmy Henchman weren't holding back when it came to dissing each other. They was dropping tracks and mixtapes left and right, taking shots and throwing shade like it was going out of style. But it wasn't just about the music. This feud turned deadly real quick. Jimmy Henchman wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty, allegedly making attempts on the lives of not just 50 Cent, but also his crew. Now it got even darker when Lodi Mack, an associate of 50 Cent, was tragically murdered. And you could bet that there was consequences for that. Retaliation was swift and the violence escalated even further. It's like a real-life gangster movie, but with hip-hop at the center of it all. Now this feud wasn't just about words anymore. It was a battle for survival in the streets, legal battles, and convictions. So Jimmy Henchman found himself ensnared in a web of legal troubles that seemed straight out of a blockbuster crime saga. From serious charges like cocaine trafficking to being accused of being involved in a murder plot. It's a pretty grim picture that's been painted of his alleged criminal activities. It's like reality decided to borrow a script from the darkest, most twisted movies out there. Now while all this was going down, 50 Cent wasn't just sitting back and watching. Nah, he decided to take on the role of a hip-hop detective. I mean, picture him like a mad Sherlock Holmes, but with a mic instead of a magnifying glass. The dude was relentless in digging into Henchman's past, shining a light on what he believed to be evidence of wrongdoing. Through social media, interviews, and even his own music, 50 Cent became a kinda crusader for justice in the name of this crazy feud. It's like he was on a mission to uncover the truth and make sure that everybody knew about it. And man, did things get intense. And justice did eventually catch up with Jimmy Henchman. After a protracted legal battle, he was ultimately found guilty on multiple charges and handed down a substantial prison sentence, effectively marking the end of an era in hip-hop's tumultuous history. Now it's a narrative that reads like a gripping legal thriller, with 50 Cent emerging as the unsung hero and a tale of corruption and retribution. But amidst all that courtroom drama and the fallout from the verdict, one question still lingers. what was the aftermath of all of this? Aftermath and reflection. Now, Jimmy Henchman, already known for his street connections, found himself facing a slew of serious charges that shook the industry to its core, from allegations of cocaine trafficking to being implicated in a murder conspiracy. Henchman's legal troubles painted a dark picture of his involvement in illicit activities beyond just the music scene. I mean, imagine this for a second. You sitting back, munching on popcorn, you watching a gritty crime drama unfold. But hold up, man, this ain't some movie plot. This is real life playing out right before your eyes. Now that's the vibe that we be getting from Jimmy Henchman's saga, which brings us over to 50 Cent. Now he's not just about dropping diss tracks and calling it a day. Nah, man, he decided to become the detective in his hip-hop drama. Think of him as the guy who's not afraid to shine a big old spotlight on things. Bro took to social media, did interviews, and even used his music to uncover what he believed to be the truth about Henchman's shady dealings, man. It's like 50 Cent was on a mission, a crusade even, to make sure that everybody knew about Henchman's alleged misdeeds. And let me tell you, he didn't hold back. Dude was like a dog with a bone, refusing to let go until he got to the bottom of it all. So yeah, I mean, things got pretty intense in the world of hip-hop for a while there. Now he became somewhat of a vigilante figure, determined to bring justice to light amidst the chaos of the feud. And justice did eventually catch up to Henchman. After a lengthy legal battle, he was convicted on multiple charges and sentenced to a considerable prison term, effectively ending his reign in the hip-hop world. It was kind of a stark reminder of the consequences that come with straying too far into the world of crime, even for somebody as influential in the world of hip-hop as Jimmy Henchman. It's a nice little slap to the face and a reminder to everybody that you may be big in the game, but you britches ain't too big that you can't be slapped down by the long arm of the law. Now in the end, the legal saga surrounding this feud served as kind of a cautionary tale for everybody who dares to tread the line between music and the streets. So what do we learn from 50 Cent versus Jimmy Henchman's feud? Well, first off, it was one hell of a ride, right? From diss tracks to legal battles, this feud had it all. But beyond the drama, it's important to recognize the impact that it had on hip-hop history. Now this feud, it wasn't just about two guys beefing hardcore. Nah, it exposed the darker side of the industry, shining a light on the dangerous intersections between music and street life. It showed us that even in the flashy world of rap, there are real consequences to actions, and sometimes those consequences can be deadly. So as we close this chapter on one of hip-hop's most notorious feuds, let's remember the lessons learned and the stories told, knowing that they'll continue to shape the landscape of rap music for years to come. Now that's all for today. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, what you thought on this one, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.